Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to the Piper Report. So, Barack Hussein Obama is once again in hot water for doing something fraudulent when he was president. Remember, his administration promised to be the most transparent administration in history. And then they set the record for the most Freedom of Information Act request denials. That is a complete 180 from what he claimed he wanted to represent. We also have Edward Snowden come out releasing documents that showed the NSA was violating our constitutional rights by monitoring our communications. And also, the US was spying on its closest allies, including German Chancellor Merkel, her own phone, and the French president, and all this extra stuff. And then we also have the IRS targeting Tea Party members. And then we also have, what's his name? He was the first Attorney General, Eric Holder. We have Eric Holder then lying under oath to Congress regarding Fast and Furious, Operation Fast and Furious, which got a border agent killed named Brian Terry, which was essentially giving guns to the drug cartel to try to determine where they end up. Well, come on, if the drug cartel is shipping drugs over to the borders, and they now have these automatic weapons, well, it's going to make our job for our Border Patrol agents a lot harder now, is it? And then I think there's one more or two. Oh, yes, we have the Obama administration also monitoring the communications of James Rosen, who was, I think he still is, actually, an FBI news reporter. He even tapped James Rosen's mom phone. And their reasoning for it was they thought James Rosen was engaged in espionage. So that little summary at the beginning here should really help you delineate that the Obama administration is full of scandals. This is nothing new. I heard once, I don't know if I saw it on TV or if I heard some YouTubers say it, but the purpose, it's something to the effect of, the purpose of the Trump-Russia narrative is to hide the crimes of the Obama administration. And that's completely true. It's more than likely that Obama and his cabinet members, including Susan Rice, his past NSA, National Security Advisor, illegally monitored and unmasked communications of the Trump campaign and Trump cabinet officials without approval. Rand Paul is really pissed about that because Rand Paul, he wants to know if he was even unmasked, if he was even monitored, if his voice was actually recorded. So there's a lot of clues in there. I did a video a while back. I'll put the link in the description. It's one of my first videos I made. It's 50 Things I Hate About Obama. And I think I changed the name now to 50 Things or 50 Unbelievable Things Obama Has Done. It's something like that. But anyways, I go through over a lot of that. And this article here I'm about to read over, there's some stuff that complements this article. Just go really quickly, I guess we'll just say that. For instance, Obama spent millions of dollars on a pottery class for Moroccan kids, tax dollars. He spent, I think, $500,000 for a bicycle, tax dollars. Basically, he used the tax dollars on his personal interests, all he wanted. He basically screwed us over. Sure, it's not a lot of money when taken to the grand scheme of things, but still. I mean, you were paying for mosques overseas, decorating mosques overseas, pottery class for Moroccan kids. It's like, come on, Obama, you can't be that insane. But as we see now, yes, he is. Here's the article. A new government audit finds more than a third of enrollees of the Obamaphone program may not be qualified, among other fraudulent findings, prompting a Senate Democrat to roundly criticize the program's complete lack of oversight. A report released Thursday by the GAO claims the program, which gives cell phones to poor people, stashed $9 billion in private bank accounts, the Washington Times reported. The 90-page report was requested by Senator Claire McCaskill, a Missouri Democrat who serves as ranking Democrat on the Senate's Chief Oversight Committee and who is a former state auditor in Missouri. Now, Senator Claire McCaskill, she hopped on the Trump-Russia narrative a lot. Initially, when she was calling out Jeff Sessions, she was saying that Jeff Sessions, in his role, should not have met with any Russian ambassador. And then people were posting Twitter of herself meeting with like the Russians, and it totally contradicted herself. Like in her Twitter feed, she said, "I have never met with a Russian ambassador in my daily duties as a senator," and people would just post the complete hypocrisy and how she lied about it, and it was funny because it completely destroyed her. So she is in a red state, so she better be careful. She might be out in, I think, 2018. I can't remember. Anyways, sorry. We're currently letting phone companies cash a government check every month with little more than the honor system to hold them accountable, and that simply can't continue, she said. Okay, here's the problem with that. That is a brilliant quote, and that is a brilliant argument. Why doesn't she have that same argument when it comes to welfare? How many times have you been to a store and you see people use a food stamp for food, and then they use cash to go buy no, other way around. They use cash to buy food, and they use the food stamps to go buy alcohol, or they're wearing a nice suit, or they're living on a nice car. I mean, the welfare state is completely fraudulent. Sure, some people are being helped, but it is being abused. It is easily being abused. That's why the welfare state overall is just no good. It's just no good at all. It doesn't actually help. It doesn't motivate people to get out and find a job themselves. It makes lazy people continue to be lazy. Because why work when you can receive free things handed to you? Why go to college and study when you can just get free stuff handed to you all you want? There's no motivation anymore. There's no competition anymore. They're trying to make it okay for us to be lazy, to not have any ambition in life, to not have any optimism, to accept defeat and accept the entitlements that you think you deserve. Not that you should maybe or maybe not get but what you deserve. Entitlements, no one deserves entitlements. You are entitled to nothing. America was founded on the concept of free enterprise. That is, you build your own future. You don't get handed your future. We started deviating from that path. More and more, we are deviating that. We are looking closer to a completely socialistic society. A society where people can just do nothing with their lives and yet still be better off than the majority of Americans. It's very sad. Entitlements themselves, a welfare state, it needs to go. It needs to go. It'd be so much better off for everybody. But I digress. The program, officially known as a Lifeline program and run by the Federal Communications Commission, predates President Obama but received attention during his time in office when recipients began to associate the free phone with other benefits given to the poor, the paper reported. The Government Accountability Office found that about 10.6 million people have an Obamaphone, but 36% of them may not qualify, according to the Washington Times. The audit also concluded that more than 5,500 people were found to be enrolled for 2 phones, while the program was paying for about 6,400 phones for persons the government has listed as dead, the paper reported. Yes. Fraud is an ever daily commodity. It continues, it sustains America. It's always going to happen in America. We have to understand that we can't let it continue. There is voter fraud, whether you want to argue it or not. We know there is voter fraud. We know there is welfare fraud. We know there is entitlement fraud. There is fraud, bank fraud. There is fraud in almost every avenue of the government. So it's time to deduce where that fraud is instead of just ignoring it because maybe more people are being helped. Like, for instance, here, the welfare state. Well, yeah, there's fraud there, but we're also helping a lot of people. So in the end, it's actually good. No, it's not. No, we should get rid of the welfare state if there is fraud, or work on a way to make it completely fraud-free. It doesn't matter that you're arguing for the greater good. Yeah, there's some fraud, but overall, it's actually helping people. No, it shouldn't work like that. We shouldn't settle. We should seek ambition, seek to fix things, idealism. And I'm done.